The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. See, there's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gons as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is December 10th. Oh no, 2025. We are live to tape on episode 899. And today, the state of the beast. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gons, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. It is Wednesday, I believe. Yes, Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
And according to the Canary Cry calendar for this year, it is the end of the Great Emu War in Australia anniversary, 1932. Yes.
The most interesting thing about Australia, the Great Emu War, the time in here, period in history, I think it was in the 60s, where the full force of the Australian military lost to a herd of 20,000 emus. Finally, setting into motion the complete takeover of the earth by emus, who lots of people think are birds, but are actually interdimensional aliens. Emu news, now that you bring it up, just the other day, the emus started laying their eggs again. We are in emu egg season, folks. It keeps moving back 1 month every single year since I got the emus on the property here. They cannot decide when to start laying eggs on a regular basis.
You're saying they move back a month?
They've been moving back a month every year. First year it was January. Last year it was December. This year they started laying in November. So
maybe the animals are on the proper cycles, and it's us humans in our Gregorian abomination that causes us to think that we are that the emus are doing it 1 month early every year.
It's the Vatican. It's the Vatican's fault. We really should be setting all of our watches to emu time.
Emu time. I really think that's a more natural cycle of things. The emu's been staring at us the whole time.
I made a kind of a big move, Gons, and this year it's not here yet. It's still in transit, but I purchased an actual emu egg incubator this year. I got tired of both me and my emu failing to hatch any of our emu eggs. So I figured I'd get some robots involved. Nice fancy machine.
Speaking of robots, it is the 74th anniversary of the first patent for a robot.
Wow. What a big
74 years. Yeah. So there you go.
On the Canary Cry calendar too?
It is also on the Canary Cry calendar. Look at the information that you have armed with the Canary Cry calendar is quite substantial. You will be one of the more interesting people in the room.
That actually reminds me. Sir Ike was asking me if we wanted to make some Canary Cry calendars available to executive producers this December. We probably, if we are going to do it, we probably should have started saying it back at the beginning of the month. But because the calendars are going to be getting printed out any day now, there's still time to I think we'll do it. We've done it every year. I'm sorry, it's unofficial, but if you want, if you're not on the supply drop and you're sad you can't get the calendar or something, if you executive produce the show for the month of December, we'll print out an extra one for you. There's probably a deadline on this because of when the printing and the shipping happens.
Sir Ike just lost some more hair,
So do it. Just do it now. Just executive produce now. Right now would be even the best because we don't have any producers for today. So if you want to save the show today, if you want to get a Canary Cry calendar and you're not on the supply drop, go executive produce the show. $100 or more, and it's yours. with that, Gons, we've got some breaking news.
Ooh, breaking.
And I thought we might as well start it out because we've been keeping an eye on this, and it may very well become the most important thing that ever happens on the history of the earth. I put a link to a clip up at the top of our document there above our.
This is truly breaking.
Truly breaking. Nice find. You got it. The breaking news jingle. All right. This is the video. I'm hoping it is the right video. I think it is the right video. This is Trump talking about the recent moves this morning in Venezuela. Not getting audio.
Man, what is up with this thing where I have to always reconnect the browser?
Build it into your process there. Just disconnect the browser every time.
It's so annoying. All right, here we go. Here's Trump talking about this here.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an interesting day from the standpoint of news.
Oh.
You probably know we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually.
Ooh.
And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other people.
Other things.
Very excitingly for me and for the country, we've just launched the Trump Gold Card.
Oh.
It was about 30 minutes from now.
Okay.
The site goes up. Well, thank you very much.
Okay. So he slipped it. So look at the president of the United States is so good at what he does. He breaking news into some major tankers being seized off the coast of Venezuela, straight into the gold cards are ready. Go
straight
to
into an ad.
I mean,
he's like
this guy's
Ben
a
Shapiro. He's basically a podcaster. Speaking of seizing the largest oil tanker ever seized,
everybody loves waffles.
The largest deal that America has ever offered, the Trump Gold Card. For just $5 million, you can become a citizen.
You have to be rich.
Let's see here. We've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker, very large, the largest one ever seized, actually, he said.
Oh my gosh.
It was seized for
I'm sorry. Stop. Sorry. I'm sorry.
What?
You cannot hear it, but on my end, the Sam Altman clip that we had planned started playing all by itself.
Okay.
The RSS people will hear this, so that's why I'm stopping you.
Okay.
No, but I couldn't stop it.
Uh-huh.
I was hitting the stop button and I couldn't stop it. So I had
this is very important, okay? Trump says it was seized for a very good reason. All right.
He was looking straight in the camera. I'm very uncomfortable.
Are we taking over Venezuela for oil reasons, for mineral reasons? No, it's because of the drug boats, Gons. This is in line with American foreign policy. First, we destroy the tiny drug boats, and then we're not taking the tanker for the oil, of course. That would be so mid-century American foreign policy. We're taking the oil tanker because it's filled with drugs, all right? It's filled with drugs, and we got to save our children. So I'm totally in support of this. Let's see here. The White House has undertaken a large... Oh, please. We already know we've taken... take a bit of Venezuela. Okay, that's it. That's all the news. We took the oil tanker. Okay, foam finger number one. We're the best. Now we have one extra oil tanker. It's probably about, I don't know, if I had to guess, $1 billion worth of oil probably in each one of these oil tankers. So we should add that to the GDP. That's going to help fight inflation. You know, everything's fine. And maybe even the Epstein files are on that tanker. Okay.
Wow.
He's doing a good job.
All the secrets, huh? Everything's on there.
Speaking of sort of dystopian announcements, Gons, let's get into our first story here.
Yep. It's about AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Is also about WorldCoin.
Must have digital ID, and you must have entered the org.
Sam Altman.
We'll see if this clip plays with the audio.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Maybe. Yeah. We'll find out. We're used to it by now. Sam Altman, the creator of WorldCoin, the biometric stealing orb banned in several countries, and of course, OpenAI, ChatGPT, cyborg robot man, went on Jimmy Fallon, which is a bit of an unusual thing for these types of tech people. They're usually pretty good at showing up on sort of podcasts or the, sort of alternative mainstream media. They don't often show up in places like Jimmy Fallon. In the case of Elon, that's usually because he's seen as sort of a right-wing crazy person. Elon and Sam Altman are at war with one another and have been for quite some time. And so Sam Altman
We're led to believe, by the way.
somehow kind of locked in a mainstream Jimmy Fallon interview here. And like any hard-hitting investigative interview on mainstream media, they got into some of the good stuff. Here's some messaging from Sam Altman.
And do you use ChatGPT when raising your baby?
I do. I mean, I feel kind of bad about it because we have this like genius level at everything, intelligence sitting there like waiting to unravel the mysteries of humanity. And I'm like, why does my kid stop dropping his pizza on the floor and laughing? Like,
Yeah.
you know?
And
so I feel like I'm not asking a good enough question, but it is, I cannot imagine having gone through that, like figuring out how to raise a newborn without ChatGPT. Clearly people did it for a long time, no problem.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
so I know it, like
did.
it's clearly was possible.
Yes, it was possible.
But I have relied on it so much.
And do you use
Okay.
Impossible
Impossible.
to raise a child without ChatGPT. It's so interesting. Of course, the audiences in these shows are paid and sort of cued when
Prompted,
to laugh.
The big old sign that says "laugh."
Yeah,
Like,
or something, or
clap.
they get hyped up before there's an opener act. Like it's
Yeah.
a whole process. Have you ever gone to like a
I have
show like that?
no, but I know I've known plenty of people who have, and so I've
Yeah,
heard the stories. Yeah.
when you live in that area, it's kind of a little bit of a rite of passage to attend really any show. There's like hundreds of these shows getting filmed every day. And if you're in the area, lots of tourists do it as well. You can show up, stand in line, and be an audience member in any number of productions like this. And it's funny because it's not just sit down here and enjoy the entertainment. There's like a whole almost brainwashing session they put you through. There's an opening comedian. Sometimes they're giving away gifts. They're trying to like hype you up. They're trying to get you to like really be loosey-goosey with your laughs, but then among that, they'll also be like the guy there's usually a comedian, and he comes up and he entertains you when there's breaks and stuff. He's also the guy kind of controlling the crowd. And there's also these moments where like you look to the guy to see if you're supposed to laugh.
He's the cue guy. He's the
kind of the
guy that's
cue guy.
leading the.
It's not as,
sentiment.
at least in my experience, I've only done it once or twice. In my experience, there's not the big like applause sign or something like maybe they had back in the day. You're kind of being controlled by this like comedian orchestra puppet master. But I thought it was pretty interesting in Sam Altman's desperate attempt to seem like a regular human being who has a child and is trying to give the impression that he doesn't have a team of nannies taking care of his children 24/7, and that he, has this active part in his children's life. Talking about asking ChatGPT, what do I do if child throws pizza on ground? And I thought it was interesting. The crowd was eerily silent there. I think he obviously was expecting a laugh. But it's that sort of uncanny valley when you're talking to a robot man. It's hard to tell what's a joke and what's not.
At this point though, I hope the baby does have some nannies so that the child has a motherly influence in its life.
Yeah, does he not have a mother? Is it a test tube baby? Is it
it's two dads. I think I'm trying to figure out exactly the process, but I believe it was through some kind of
Is Sam Altman
controlled.
Is he? Oh yeah,
He's a gay
Oliver.
man. He's a gay
He's
man.
married to Oliver Mulherin.
Yes, he has. So there's two dads in this relationship, and
Right.
I'm trying to find the exact thing they used to have this baby. I think there was
Maybe it's just a robot mom.
I mean,
Robot.
that's what everyone expects, but I believe they went through the having like a surrogate mother in the whole thing. So
Oh, of course, yeah.
yeah. So
So the interestingly enough, futurism thought that this was sort of an important enough moment to report on, which I think we do too when we consider the messaging, not just the messaging, but also the sort of philosophical social engineering that comes through these types of shows. They're not just entertainment, they're programming, et cetera, et cetera. And part of it is Sam is sort of giving parents permission to use ChatGPT as much as they want. Like, how did people even raise children before AI? It's crazy. Because, with new parents, especially, I'm sure you experience this, there's a lot of not knowing what to do. There's a lot of kind of freaking out. There's a lot of thinking you're not a good parent, or, you don't know what you're doing. And you just want somebody to tell you exactly what to do or to tell you you're doing a good job. And in this case, ChatGPT is there for you.
Well, I'll tell you this as a parent with real human children. The thought has obviously crossed my mind. Hey, maybe I can ask AI about, my son's behavior or something.
Right.
Like, he's not acting well. Like, what can I do? I need some tips or something on, how to discipline him, whatever it might be. The thought has crossed my mind. But for me, I was maybe conscious enough, and maybe it's because of what we do or our religious views or faith views or whatever. But I in that moment, I thought, wow, it would be so easy and actually probably a little helpful in this moment to do that. But I'm making a conscious decision not to. I mean, I'm using AI for other things, but I am making a conscious decision not to look that up with, ChatGPT or any other AI. I'm gonna go do my own Google search, which already is kind of, you realize how far down the rabbit hole we've all been pulled already with finding information and how fast we can find it and whatnot. ChatGPT just makes it faster. AI makes it faster. Obviously, it consolidates the time it would take to do the reading and, reading 4 or 5 articles and coming up with a summary, and it does that in a mere seconds. So I can understand the temptation of a busy parent to just be like, just give me the bullet points of all these videos or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just didn't do it because I thought, that would be shortcutting something important and valuable, and I'd rather go looking for it myself and then just, see, because in those situations you're going to find a whole bunch of content on it, right? People have published content on how to parent or whatever. And even then you might go through a couple videos or a couple articles and you might sit there and be like, none of this. I don't really want to like try this on my kid or something, so
yeah, and source is important too. It's one of the problems with asking something to ChatGPT is if you go looking for something yourself, you can say, okay, that's an interesting piece of advice, but I do not trust this source. There are way too many ads, or this is way too random of a blog or something like that.
Right.
But the information ChatGPT is going to give you, it doesn't always necessarily, you don't know where the source is coming from.
Yeah, well, you can ask for a source, give him the source of whatever, and it'll give you a link
and we
or whatever,
do know also that it is way overtrained on Reddit.
Yeah,
and you're pretty much every question you're asking it, you're basically asking Reddit. It'll mix in other stuff, but it's way overtrained on Reddit.
Sure.
And it's also very interesting because on one hand, we all are becoming more aware of like how affected we are by technology. We're concerned by how younger and younger kids are interacting with technology in a way that, affects how they're raised, affects how they learn, affects their personality, messes with their expectations about what being in reality is like and talking to a person and all this thing. But taking it all the way back to the parents using ChatGPT for raising their kid, you've basically moved the goal line all the way back to birth. Because if you're depending on the percentage of ways of your parenting coming from ChatGPT, basically your kid's being raised by AI at that point. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
it's depending on how much you use it, but essentially you're handing over the raising of your child to AI. You're just the hands and feet of the AI decision making. You become a proxy. You are the avatar of AI raising your child, which sort of spiritually is already concerning. Futurism wrote here, considering the tech's well-documented track record of distorting the truth and giving terrible advice, it's an alarming admission. While Altman's storytelling was presumably meant to serve as a relatable punchline during high-visibility interview, the risks are far higher than he's letting on, particularly when it comes to raising young children. Researchers have warned that over-relying on large language models could be dangerous, arguing in a 2024 study, for instance, that there's a critical need for expert oversight on ChatGPT for safeguarding child healthcare information. And here we have, of course, you wonder why these weird moments when it comes to AI that we find ourselves more or less agreeing with what they're saying. We agree with mainstream media that using AI is probably not the best idea, where we are a little bit more worried about the spiritual ramifications of AI using you as a puppet to raise your child, essentially making it AI's child. They're a little bit more concerned about the actual information. Is it good advice or is it bad advice? And which is not a non-concern, but it's also very surface level. And they give it away right here that essentially what they're moving towards socially is having expert oversight of ChatGPT. This censoring, the controlling of information is sort of the foundation of what they're talking about there, which we already know is a part of what happens with ChatGPT, but sort of a mainstream outcry. Please control our information more. Please, lock us into the already corrupt experts industry, especially when it comes to baby raising and parenting. That's a highly sort of industrialized industry where trusting experts, right? You're back to trusting experts with how to raise your child, not relying on all sorts of things, whether it be tradition or your motherly instincts or things like this.
Big, we talk about big pharma, but I'm telling you, big baby is probably even more nefarious when you start really digging into all the stuff, products, because corporations know the first few years of life are the most impressionable. So, of course, they're going to place as many products and objects and, ways to interact with the young minds as much as possible. So, yeah, it's tough because at the same time, as a parent, you do have those moments where it's like, oh, I just need something. Just give me something, like, please, like there's this desperation. And so I understand that, but to commoditize that desperation is truly the nefarious nature of big baby. I'm going after big baby. We're gonna take down big baby.
And it's the problem with everything. The problem with everything is convenience, right? It's inconvenient to find your way, follow your instincts, maybe
pray about it or
traditions. Yeah. What does the Bible have to say about your kid dropping pizza on the ground? I don't know. I haven't looked, but there's probably something in there.
Pizza in the Bible.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. One last bit from the article here. ChatGPT and other large language models have the potential to transform the health information landscape online, they wrote. However, lack of domain-specific expertise and known errors in large language models raise concerns about widespread adoption of content generated by these tools for parents making healthcare decisions for their children. So sort of the most obvious pushback coming here from futurism. But at the same time, this clip itself is an advertisement. Oh, Sam Altman, the guy who created it, whether or not he actually does this. Part of me thinks that this is just a total PR marketing hogwash.
Sam, go stand next to your child and look something up on
It's
ChatGPT. You need to
just
spend a moment
marketing.
or two so that we can say we watched you do it.
The creator of the thing, who would know all of the problems with it, who would know, every obstacle and every little tweak that needs to be made. Oh, he's taking parenting advice from ChatGPT. Well, if he would do it, then it must be safe. And you compare this to other tech giants, like famously, Steve Jobs, creator of the iPhone, the iPad, said, "There's no way I would ever let my child hold an iPad."
Yeah.
All these guys totally keeping their technology away from their kids because they know the dangers of it. They've known it forever. But Sam Altman coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, ChatGPT raises my kid all the time. Totally safe. Go for it, kids."
Listen to the subtlety of the promotion of ChatGPT or just AIs in general is pretty wild here too, because he makes man, I don't know if he meant to do this, maybe who knows, but he is able to advertise the potential of AI in this little skit here where he goes, "I'm asking this silly question, this sort of pointless question about a child dropping pizza or whatever for parenting, but it's capable of so much more. It's going to answer all the cosmic questions of the universe." And so in this instant, somebody new to AI will look at that and might be like, "Wait, what?" Like parenting question seems like a pretty important question, but this guy, this billionaire guy, considers it kind of a minute thing because this thing that he created answer the universe's questions.
Right.
So maybe not consciously thinking that from the audience, but
implication, right, that the parenting advice is so beneath.
right.
It's so beneath its genius.
The
that
cosmic
it's
knowledge that this thing holds. So yeah, it's a very strange contrast to make, which I don't know. It reveals itself. I think the more that I sit here staring at his face there and looking at this topic and the story, yeah, it just, man,
the more I'm staring at his
the more I stare at his face, the more I think he needs
feeling.
Jesus. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Along these lines, one of the ways you can produce the show is with your art. It helps us shape the culture here. And in some ways, you become documentarians of the podcast because you get to document aspects of the show, topics of the show, things that happen on the show, and create your fun little art around it. You can go to canarycry.art to submit artwork or jingles or ISOs. We had fun. We had a little bit of fun pulling this ISO together, and I realized this is my fault as the co-host of the podcast. I have not done a good job of bringing new ISOs to the show and like leaning into them, and also leaning into the ISOs brought by producers. So I'm going to be doing that a little bit more, I think. And to kick off this new era, Basil, one of one of the ISOs that you may hear a lot, and I think part of how we weave in stories that have happened without repeating the whole thing over and over again, which tends to happen. That's sort of the beauty of the ISO. You get it in 2 seconds, you get to reference something that has a rich conversation and history behind it. I made this ISO.
We are a global production company.
Yes, a global production company. If you know what that clip is from. But along the way, you can make artwork for us.
No, it was a Mossad agent going on 60 Minutes talking about how they control the history of the world.
Well, we think it's a Mossad agent. We don't know because he was wearing a shiesty. He was wearing a face mask and sunglasses, and you could not see anything.
A balaclava.
Sure. So we just had the Sam Altman story, and I thought it would be a good time to share this artwork that we received from Mama Cinta. She actually sent us a PDF. It's a whole pamphlet. Maybe we can go to some of these AI events and hand these out. The note reads, "Hello, Gons and Basil. This idea came about back when y'all first started talking about Sam Altman's orb. Originally, I was combining it with Revelation 13:18, but only recently realized that I have been reading that verse wrong most of my life. This is how I read it. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. I did not notice that there was an A before the word man, as in the number of a man. I just decided to send this in anyway. Have a great day. So interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is very fun, Mamacita. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
It's like a brochure, very corporate looking, very, very right down the middle. It says, "Don't be left out. Be human." And it's got a very sort of high-tech brochure image up at the top there. It's got a half human lady with a half robot face. It says, "The future is here." And thankfully, she puts our text message alert system number on there. You can text Canary to 877-740-3226 to get on it, and puts our email so people know who to contact if you're interested in this product.
Be human, yes. And there's a
Be-
watermark of 666 on the foreheads.
Be
Wow.
seen, be human today. Are you the life of the party, but everyone keeps asking for a ride? Do you enjoy riveting conversations, but no one can take their eyes off your extra fingers and toes? Do you have wires instead of ligaments? We have just what you need. Our state-of-the-art tattoo offers precision detail to manipulate others' ocular perception. Walk-ins are always welcome. It is fast, easy, and painless. No one will see wires, extra fingers, or ask you for a ride after your new tattoo. Stop in today. And the next page has a picture of a android, a humanoid robot, staring into the orb, Sam Altman's orb. And the next page, or the next image, is that robot has now turned into a man who's very happy, gigantic thumbs up and 666 printed around his forehead. And it says, "We guarantee you will be satisfied with your results." Then they do put a little disclaimer warning. Those who listen to Canary Cry News Talk, Canary Cry Radio, or any of their affiliates will not have the same satisfying results. These individuals will be left seeing everything as it is. And I see how this connects to her message that she sent, because she read it. I know the word of the Lord written on your heart read it correctly, but in her note, she says, where is it? This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of man. So reading it, the number of man. And so in this particular rendition of her brochure is the number of man, the mark of the beast, potentially giving androids or robots the appearance of man. If they get marked with this mark, then they suddenly are perceived as human by everybody around them. And that's why she says, I just decided to send this in anyways. But she had the epiphany that it's number of a man.
Sure.
But still very fun. Thank you very much, Mamacita.
Yep. Thank you, Mamacita. All right. What are we doing next? Are we doing this?
You have a little bit
real
of
quick.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's quick. It's quick. It's just a little thing, and we haven't played the jingle in a while. Oh no, is it not going to pull up?
Still not going to play the jingle.
Oh no, it's got to happen. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's going to happen. It'll happen right now.
Most modeling is kind of acting like a
Beast.
but making it fashion.
Beast.
But then make it fashion.
Elon Musk was on the Katie Miller podcast, because everyone watches or listens to the Katie Miller podcast, don't you, Basil? Do you know who that is?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, well, I don't either. Anyway, so here's Elon. He's wearing a Star Wars mock shirt. I don't know what it actually says in there. His jacket is covering it. And he's got one of these sort of, I don't know, NASA space jacket type things that are blue. Anyway, he's talking about fashion here. I'm going to play a few seconds of it. And he's got some advice for society.
Their jackets are cooler than what we have right now. They have sort of like a high collar and like a sort of.
I think he's talking about some
sort of
old school jackets.
Way cooler thing.
Talking about Nazis.
Yeah. I mean, it just looks cool. Like, so, but we don't. Everything's like a very normal looking suit at this point. But like literally the same as 2015. I'm being generous because arguably the same as 2010. Yeah. So 15 years. And I'm like, from a fashion standpoint, I don't think we've moved since 2000 in 25 years. If you showed someone a picture of this is a bunch of dudes in 2000, this is a bunch of dudes in 2025. Which year is which? So I think we should, I don't know, spice it up a little.
Spice it up a little. I think Elon Musk thinks we should spice up the fashion. What do you think?
I'll poke a hole in his theorem here because all of us fashionistas here at Canary Cry know that fashion moves in cycles, right? Yeah. So it always comes back. It's called retro, then it becomes mainstream. When I was coming of age, I was right smack dab in the millennial tradition of going back to suspenders and mustaches and newsboys hats. And
you were kind of the first generation of that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean that was our generation. Suddenly riding a fixie bicycle, wearing a top hat with a monocle, some suspenders, and it was very 1920s or something.
Yeah.
But right now, the problem with his mention here is that with the Gen Z, the 2000s fashion is very hot right now. They've their retro is the 90s, whereas your and I's retro guns was the 80s primarily was kind of my retro, maybe the 70s, bell bottoms. Around the Britney Spears era, that's where the Gen Z fashion is right now. They've come full circle. They've come all the way around, dressing like Christina Aguilera at the Grammys or something like that.
Right.
But he's not wrong. I really want to know whose jackets he was talking to at the beginning, because it really gives me the impression he's talking about Nazis. Because in the sort of Nick Fuentes fervor, like fever dream that is the timeline occasionally, one thing that Groypers will say is like, I mean, say what you will about the Nazis, but they had cool uniforms.
Right. That's the one.
Was it Gucci? Who was it? It was like one of the really famous fashion houses designed the Nazi uniforms. I think it was Gucci, but who
was Gucci
designed the Nazi uniforms?
Chanel.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Well, it looks like a bunch. Yeah, Louis Vuitton.
Yeah. The Nazi
Dior, Hugo Boss. Yeah, all the big ones.
Interesting how the companies that did the fashion, and we're not going to get into necessarily beast fashion and the effects, the social engineering effects, the mind control effects that not just fashion in general, controls who's in, who's out of society. Fashion is a class thing. If you dress like this, you're high class. If you dress like this, you're low class. It's one of the most important and least sort of thought of ways to control a population. In fact, hackers and much of hacking is actually just social engineering. But I learned this from my hacker buddies who said, the first thing a hacker does is learn fashion. Like fashion is the number one thing. You put on a doctor's coat, you can get into the hospital. You carry a ladder and wear suspenders, they'll let you into anywhere. They think if you're a mechanic, you wear this, and it's like a very effective way of getting what you want in this world. But isn't that interesting? I mean, it's like its own Operation Paperclip. You maybe call it Operation Safety Pin. That all of the Nazi fashion houses are the exact high fashion, super high status, super expensive, ridiculous sort of fashion houses of today. If that's not a mirror or a parallel to how a lot of things are today, then I don't know what is. It's a very interesting connection.
Wow, Hugo Boss joined the Nazi Party in 1931. 33 was when Hitler came into power. And he created the Nazi uniforms for the youth, the Hitler Youth uniforms. Yeah, so that's Hugo. Next time,
so everybody got to play in it. I mean,
it looks like it was a trend. Everyone was going for who could design the best for the Nazis.
Yeah, well, that's That's how you become a, legendary high fashion. Again, and with these high fashion things, I mean, forget about what was the one with all the sort of Pizzagate designs. This was a couple of years ago.
Balenciaga.
Balenciaga.
Balenciaga was part of it too. It looks like it's on this list.
Of
Let me see what's
course
in
they
this list.
are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. It never stopped, man.
Yeah, it's just, I guess, suspected. So no, nothing there. But yeah, anytime someone's wearing Boss now, you can go up to him and, oh, smelling like a Nazi there, buddy.
Smell Gucci, because Gucci's
Really?
Italian, and the Italians were one of the only were one of the Nazis' strongest allies during the time too. So yeah, it's all kind of see. Don't think that just because other hard-hitting podcasts don't have a fashion segment that it has nothing to do with the broad conspiracy of our times.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
Speaking of bringing Nazis over to work for our space agency, for our fashion houses, let's check in with the beast system. We got more here.
More beast system.
Yeah.
I need a faster machine.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
All right. This one is coming from the BBC and it's breaking today. Headline: U.S. could ask foreign tourists for 5 years social media history before entry. Whoa. Talk about a little surveillance action there. Tourists from dozens of countries, including the UK, could be asked to provide a 5-year social media history as a condition of entry to the United States under a new proposal unveiled by American officials. The new condition would affect people from dozens of countries who are eligible to visit the U.S. for 90 days without a visa, as long as they have filled out an electronic system for travel authorization form, or ESTA. Since returning to the White House in January, President Trump has moved to toughen U.S. borders more generally, citing national security as a key reason. Analysts say the new plan could pose an obstacle to potential visitors or harm their digital rights. Sure.
Yes. Now
Yes,
this is there's a couple of very interesting details.
Mhm.
This is, you might think, okay, yeah, strengthen the border, check everybody's social media. I think ICE kind of already does that as well.
Mhm.
Okay, makes sense. But specifically, they're talking about countries who have visa
programs.
What is it called?
The exchange.
Yeah, visa exchange.
It's just a program.
I
Isn't
said it
like
before. No, it doesn't matter. But are very friendly nations, the nations that we trust, the nations that we go back and forth with, without a visa.
a travel visa thing.
Yeah, any kind of visa. It's just
Sure.
sort of automatic. If you're from the UK, we trust you. Come on in. You can stay here for a while. Stuff like that. It's mostly European countries. I think there's one or two others. Where normally people can come in. It's not a big deal. They don't need to do this or that or get a background check or do whatever. And so for the longest time, we've trusted these nations to, not be a big problem. Well, coming up, and this is mentioned in the article here, we've got things like the World Cup coming up. We've got the 2028 Olympics. Specifically, the Olympics have always been sort of a ritual in many ways, but also a sort of beast system, dystopian, technocratic ritual every 4 years, where the newest, most intense, most strongest security technology gets put into play.
Oh, yeah, the world's eyes are on one location or one event all at once for the most part.
Security
it's a
robots.
great opportunity. Yeah.
We're a big part of it. We saw this in the Japanese Olympics, where robots really stepped out on the stage, and the Japanese even said, where this is the time these Olympics mark, the start of robotics in everyday life.
Right. The Winter Games, yeah.
AI facial recognition technology was also one where it was, okay, here we go. It's the Olympics. We're officially deploying AI facial recognition on a broad scale because it's security for the entire world, basically. And so here we go. The next Olympics is coming up. And even the countries who we have the most travel with, the most trust with, etc., are potentially going to have to give 5 years of their social media history. Now, there's a lot of questions. What does this mean? Do you have to give them your, your password, or do you
No, it
just
says
give
later. It's
your
not
handle?
your,
Yeah.
no, nothing like that. But yeah,
And
just your public.
more likely than anything else, it's not going to be a human being scrolling through 5 years of your posts. It's probably going to be AI
Of
that
course.
will scan your whole thing and sort of detect a risk level. But the fact that it's specifically being used for the friendly visa countries speaks to the more global immigration problem, because we know the UK is a great example. Canada's also having this problem. Most places in the West are having this problem, where they've at least had a 5-year period of unrestricted immigration, or they are currently in a place of unrestricted immigration. And along with that unrestricted immigration, there has been a notable lack of vetting, a notable lack of sort of, responsibility taking or integration with the populations coming in. UK, God bless. I mean, you guys seem to have it the worst over there. And so if someone was trying to get into the United States to cause trouble, the way that they would have to do it, or at least the easiest way to do it, would not be to try to get a visa or whatever and fly in. It's to go to a friendly country first and then get on a plane, and you don't need a visa, and boom, you land in the US and you're good, right? And because of, for instance, unrestricted immigration in UK and the lack of vetting or accountability that happens over there with that population, the easiest and most viable way to get into the country, if you have an issue or want to cause trouble, is to take advantage of the very accepting, warm, welcoming arms of the government of the UK. Start getting your benefits, get set up with a hotel room, and then when the time comes, just get yourself a plane ticket, cruise on over, easy peasy, you're in. Now, the question also occurs to me, to a certain degree, who, like, immediately I'm like, well, probably people meaning to do harm probably don't even have social media. I mean, if they're coming from the desert or the jungle, a good chance they don't have
They don't
social
have 5
media.
years at
Yeah,
least
or
that they can
whatever.
claim or whatever. Yeah.
They're not necessarily worried about Facebook, but the actual data doesn't show that. The data shows that pretty much everyone on Earth has a Facebook account. Lots of people, and if not Facebook, they have something that's sort of native to their country.
Yes.
We don't live in the world anymore where you go, oh, that's a poor person, or oh, that's a third worlder. They don't have phones. They don't have social media. No, in fact, there's that whole hullabaloo a few years ago where Facebook was preloading Facebook onto pretty much every phone manufactured on Earth outside of the US. So, there's very interesting analyses and reports and studies of people in places like, I don't know, Cambodia or Bangladesh or these types of places. Any phone they purchased already came preloaded with Facebook.
Right.
And they did not have the kind of technical history with these things, and they would go onto Facebook, and their impression was that Facebook was the internet. Like, that's all the internet is. Not a whole lot of browsing, not a whole lot of browsers, not a whole lot of going to websites. Whole cultures around the world consider Facebook to be the internet.
Right. It was their introduction, their funnel into just internet in general, much like
they didn't
maybe
have
like AOL. Yeah, AOL IM or something was for us, or something, every generation or every country. Some statistics.
Just real quick, that was a big reason why suddenly, sort of overnight, maybe about 10 years ago, every every social media, every like email thing, suddenly you could log on with just your phone number.
Right.
You stopped requiring, you don't need an email anymore. All you need is a phone number, which if you have a phone, you got your phone number, and now you can make a Facebook account. That was kind of part of the underlying transition into that period.
Yeah. Some statistics suggest that as of 2025, 5.5 billion people have a social media account in the world.
Yeah, jeez.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's more than half, which is
65% of the global population. And you're talking about, presumably people that are old, not little babies or really old people that don't have it or something.
Yeah. Well, you brought up the other side of this before the show, which is who's to say they just don't purchase a social media account?
Yeah.
Can they just say that they don't have one? Can they just use their friends? Like, what exactly does that look like? If they've spent 5 years posting "Death to America,"
Yeah.
gonna be
wouldn't you scrub it? You would scrub it before you. Hey, I'm going to America. Maybe those tweets from 10 years ago, I'm talking about Death to America. Maybe I should delete those before I get, but
and it's not going to stop here. Again, this is the Olympics. This is when they introduce this technology. They step up the ratcheting of the technocracy. And first, it'll be people traveling to the U.S., but it's an integral part of the digital ID issue as well. So
no, this is almost like the U.S. doing the technocratic dirty work in a sense. It's like, okay, fine. If the UK or these nations, which consists, you had mentioned earlier, it's a pretty considerably long list. I think it's like 40 something nations, a lot of European nations, but a bunch from Asia as well. You got your Japan and South Korea, Singapore. And so, and it says here, as well as the collection of social media.
It's all the digital ID nations already.
Yeah.
So Europe is already, you're going to have digital IDs next year. South Korea, Japan, they're all way ahead with the digital ID. All they're doing is, kind of front loading all the countries who are already going to have digital ID in the next few years, with having to use it to come to America, to go to the Olympics, to go to the World Cup.
Yeah, they're not really calling it the digital ID, obviously, but I mean, they're collecting social media. It says here, as well as collecting of social media information, the new document proposes the gathering of an applicant's telephone numbers and email addresses, so multiple, used over the last 5 and 10 years respectively, and more information about their family members. So this is quite the profiling of whoever's coming into this country. I mean, again, on one hand, from the United States perspective, you want to make sure who's coming into the country to visit, not even to like live here, but to visit, or everything's on the up and up. But also, again, it really just allows for
the point is that that's a huge intrusive pain in the butt for people who want to come into the US. And the solution to that is digital ID, because this is all the information that will be automatically attached to your biometric digital ID. You won't have to fill out all your phone numbers. You won't have to fill out all your social media. You won't have to fill out any of that. Oh, isn't that a relief? People coming to, visit the US. It was such a pain in the butt. I had to give all my stuff and I had to fill out all these forms, and it was a nightmare. But now, thankfully, we've got digital ID, and all I got to do is, they scan my forehead and boom, they have all the information that they need.
And this is a way to cross-reference information as well. And maybe that type of data is useful for the geopolitics of the future. If the United States can say, like, look, we have data, we have the data that you have on your digital IDs for your citizens that have been to this country, and we're tracking them just as much as you are. So, no more hanky panky. So this is totally the dystopic scientific dictatorship, the virtual panopticon. And isn't it interesting how we can't help ourselves? Like, there's no. And this was always going to be the case with technology.
That's the trick. Is it's not even necessarily happening to Americans. It's happening to benefit the
on behalf
security of America. So, there's this
Right.
this very subtle, like, oh, Americans, get on board because this is what's keeping you safe from other people in the world.
Yeah.
And that, and that's how you get it into the sort of minds, the colloquialism, and the security apparatus. And it's not quite forcing digital ID on Americans yet, because we will be the hardest to go along with it. But if everybody else in the world needs one to get into America, suddenly those countries will start requiring it as well. And so
Yep.
it'll start with travel. It always starts with travel. It's the Patriot Act. It's the whole thing. Every piece of the dystopian technocratic panopticon is with travel. Oh, you want to move? You want to be free? You want to see the world? Well, you have to deal with this new stepped up level of security. What's the word? I don't know. Intrusiveness, I guess.
Yeah. But this is the termination of anonymity in a sense, because part of privacy is anonymity.
Yeah, of
And so if
course.
you're destroying anonymity, then you are destroying privacy. And hey, maybe I can be a Tucker Carlson type of American. I could go buy a house in Qatar. I'm going to do it. The whole thing. It doesn't matter if you're a CIA child. You can just do whatever you want. As an American, Basil, as an American intelligence operative, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, if you're in the
You're
CIA,
free.
you can do anything.
Free.
Yeah. Along the lines, kind of related here. This was a report from the BBC. This actually was coming out back on the end of September, but it kind of snuck by. It was kind of quiet. Let's actually watch the clip. This is from the BBC. It's a couple minutes, and it is the BBC, so it can kind of feel dry. But let's go ahead and play this. We can stop it if we get bored.
We love the Brits.
Officers
Can you hear it, by the way?
I could for a second. Yeah.
Great.
soon have to reveal their ties to the Freemasons, a centuries-old fraternal organization. We find out why. Should police officers have to tell their bosses if they are part of the Freemasons, which is a centuries-old fraternal organisation? The Met has started a consultation on whether membership should be declared as part of improving trust in the force. But the move has been criticised by the Met Police Federation and the Freemasons themselves. Our Home Affairs correspondent Sonia Jessup joins me. Hi, Sonia. What exactly is the issue here?
Well, for the Met, the issue is trust and transparency.
What exactly is the issue here? Why should police have to say if they're in the Freemasons?
Well, I mean, it's funny how they frame it like the Freemasons are up in arms too, justice for the Freemasons. Let them have their privacy.
It's you'll notice they use the keywords, okay? We all can recognize these keywords now. The one specifically in this report is human rights.
Human rights. Okay.
It's
all right.
a human rights problem for Freemasons to have to disclose that they're Freemasons in the police
issue
force.
is one of trust and transparency. At the moment, officers have to declare any association with an individual or a group if it could compromise their integrity or if it could damage public confidence. And the Met is considering whether membership of the Freemasons should be added to that list. Now, Freemasonry, as you say, is a centuries-old organisation. It says it's about charity and fellowship, but it's been dogged by allegations of nepotism and also corruption, which they deny. 4 years ago, a report recommended that officers should declare if they were a member. And this was a report which looked at the Met's failings in the unsolved murder of Daniel Morgan, who was killed in 1987 in southeast London. And it said that membership of the Freemasons had been a source of recurring suspicion and mistrust in the investigations. Now, the Met Police Federation, which represents rank and file officers, says it's against this consultation, this move, and the Freemasons agree with that. They say that officers should only have to...
What was that?
Isn't that interesting that, I forget what it's called, but like the police union, the fraternal group of union of policemen have a problem with disclosing if you're part of the Masons.
Yeah, why? Why are they so upset?
Yeah, it's weird.
Reveal if they're a member if they feel that it's relevant to their role.
A blanket expectation on police officers to declare their membership of Freemasonry for us is quite clearly against basic human rights, the freedom of association, for example, to name one. And I think
freedom of association.
Mm-hmm.
So they're free to not associate publicly.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not necessarily they're not saying to make it illegal to associate with Freemasons. They're just saying they want to know if you're associating. Yeah, it's that's a good point, Gans. Yeah, to point that out. It's very subtle little argument that it's it's breaching their human right of free association by being allowed to associate, but just having to tell people. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Expectation on police officers to declare their membership of Freemasonry for us is quite clearly against basic human rights, the freedom of association, for example, to name one. And I think that's something that we need to be really careful of, because actually, where does that then end? Are we going to start asking golf clubs and other sort of membership organizations to ask their members to declare membership?
As you mentioned there, Sonia, this isn't a new issue. So why now?
Well, indeed, the mayor has previously ruled out having a compulsory register. He said that it could infringe on officers' human rights. Now, no mention of that point in the statement he gave today. The mayor said that this move is about boosting transparency and making the Met a fairer place to work. Now, the Met has said that it continues to get concerns and investigation reports, intelligence reports raised by officers and staff over whether membership is impacting on investigations, on misconduct, and on promotion. So it wants to look at this again.
So that means
she's talking about whistleblowers.
Yeah.
Other officers, other staff continue to whistleblow about Freemasonry being, affecting things like internal investigations, promotions, etc., which of course it was basically exactly what the Freemasons were kind of organized this way specifically to promote. It's
the good old boys club. It's the insider group. You're a Freemason, you do a little handshake, a little symbol, you move up the ladder quicker. Yeah, it's the fast pass of society.
They mentioned that at least when this started, getting investigated 4 years ago, it was because of one particular investigation of a murder in the 80s, and connection to Freemasonry just kept coming up in this murder investigation, and they've sort of hint at an ongoing series of investigations where Freemasonry just keeps popping up. But of course, it's human rights, Gons. What are you going to do? You can't take away their human rights to be in a secret fraternal organization to protect each other and promote each other.
Listen, the Freemasons can argue that God gave them the right to be of secret societies and practice their freedom.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny that just on this vibe of the human rights and sort of the neoliberal religion that is protecting the Masons in this case, in this BBC article, which I won't take much from because it's basically the report that we just had. Let's see here. It says the group presents itself as focused on fellowship, moral development, and charity, and is among the UK's biggest charitable donors. Famous past members, have included Winston Churchill, Arthur Conan Doyle, and Oscar Wilde. They're good guys. They're guys that you love. Let's see here. Oh, I missed.
Freemasons are said to use eye coverings during initiation to symbolize the journey from ignorance to knowledge. It looks like a bunch of people wearing VR before VR. To be honest with you, we need googly eyes on all of these masks. That would be my that could end this podcast if there was like a photo that surfaced of Freemasons doing an initiation ritual and they all have googly eyes over their blindfolds. I might start questioning some things over their basil. I start really questioning everything at that point.
You can finally be promoted. Again, back to sort of the woke thing here. It says its roots lie in the medieval stonemasons guilds, and members still lead in lodges to carry out secretive initiation rituals and ceremonies based on allegories, The rituals are based on allegories, such
Yeah.
as the building of King Solomon's temple. The Freemasonry in England was for 200 years only open to men. That changed in the 20th century, but
Oh, yeah?
most lodges remain men only or women only. So
Ugh.
now we have women Freemason lodges because of woke.
Didn't they have? Weren't the Boy Scouts and some of these younger institutions uh, like satellites, or the
No, they're like
pathway to
farm leagues. They're like
farm leagues? I
farm
think
leagues.
the girls had something called like the Rainbow Girls or something back in the day, and that was their. So it was kind of like Girl Scouts, but it was on the path to being I forget which organization it was, but it's one of these secret societies.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
man, they're everywhere, man. They're all over, and it's like embedded into American history, especially people that are your parents' age and maybe grandparents and stuff. They grew up with it if they grew up in America at that point. It's all over the place. It's so kind of I don't know. I don't think it's
Well, that's
spoken
part of
about
the
enough.
protection. It's part of the protection because we even hear it now. The argument against, hey, what are all these Freemasons doing? Is, and as we know, and has as many a credible researcher has showed us that, it's mostly just a fraternal order, and you get together and you do charity, and if you have a coworker who's a Mason and you're a Mason, you're going to have a lot in common. So that's good. You're working towards the betterment of humanity. Nothing gets really sort of dark or Luciferian until you're the 33rd degree, which in fact, they kind of mention a little bit in here. Let me grab it. Third. Come on. Third. It says
1903.
Freemasons wear symbolic aprons and progress through degrees of membership, with the phrase giving someone the third degree originating from its final stage of initiation. Which is funny. It's giving the impression that stage 3 or the third degree is the highest stage of initiation. Just in this
that is
crappy little thing.
categorically, and it's known now, but that is the public version of what people get with the hierarchy.
Right.
You got to get in a little deeper to start learning about the higher degrees of order, up to 33.
Now, we have the chief of the Metropolitan Police here, a clip of him responding to some question. Let's just see. He'll give us the updates with this.
Something you're worried about? That's something police officers need to declare.
Freemasonry has been the subject of numerous reports over decades in the police, including recommendations recently that it ought to be a declarable association that's explicit. Nobody's confronted this in the past. We have information intelligence that tells me we do need to confront it, and that's why we published the draft policy, which will be coming into action in the next few weeks. I see evidence of it being linked to misconduct. I see evidence of it linked to expectations of favoritism and favorite treatment. And I also see evidence that the sense that people are part of secret networks undermines the trust of others in the organization. That's why we're confronting it.
There you go.
Manly P. Hall, the man who is very influential in occult language and also was a Freemason himself, in his last speech in the 1990s said that in the 21st century, the Prince of Peace will come, all the corruption will be exposed. I'm wondering if that was this plan to expose Freemasonry in all the sectors of society. What's replacing something like the Freemasons is the technocracy. The technocratic layer is actually replacing all this, and it's creating transparency, but at the cost of the rise of the technocrat. So,
yeah. And sorry, just a correction. This is Sir Mark Peter Rowley, who's the commissioner of the police, not the chief there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very interesting. And again, it comes at a very weird time in the UK, where among the immigration thing is they just had this huge thing blow open with the police protecting all sorts of criminals and gangs and turning the other, turning away and not. I mean, this is a huge problem in London, but also the UK as a whole. And so it's coming right at this moment where it's kind of on the precipice of like, what's going to happen? Is there going to be accountability? Is anything going to happen? So it'll be interesting. If any of our UK producers have any information or even just thoughts and feelings, send us an email, let us know. Or leave us a voice message. Go to canarycrynewstalk.com, press on the green tab that's on the right hand or the bottom, and you can leave us a voice message with your experiences there.
I was just going to say that, we understand the secrecy, the nature of something like the Freemasons and the privileges that they get in society based on their collusion or secrecy association. And, I just, it makes the argument of human rights so egregious because in any other given situation, is it going to get to the point where any human crime is just like, but human rights?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the direction you're loosening the term or the I don't know, the wall that is human rights into this, like, I can do whatever I want kind of thing,
Immigration, ICE, Antifa, Black Lives Matter. It's all crime in the name of human rights.
Right.
It's all taking away other people's human rights in the name of human rights.
But it's terrible because it actually destroys the true, I don't know, libertarian or, like a pure libertarian or I don't know, something like that. Any kind of attempt for such a thing, it just undermines. I don't think that's the right word.
Liberal.
No, not liberal, because I'm trying to say that any kind of movement for genuine. See, I can't even say it without having that connotation now. I was going to say human rights, but what does genuine human rights even look like at this point?
Well, it's a big problem with American liberalism because we just had, who was it? I think it was Tim Kaine or maybe Lindsey Graham, not Lindsey Graham, Chuck Schumer, who came out and said, like, our rights come from the government. The government gives us our rights. So the government needs to be powerful. And as we've seen in the United States and we're seeing around the world now, the liberal or the neoliberal or the liberal economic order, is done paying lip service to human rights, and everything along the way is entirely authoritarian. It's the same with COVID. It's all with this, casting the spell of human rights and equality and equity and all these things, but they do exactly the opposite. The outcome is precisely the opposite of that.
It's worked very well.
Before we move on, Gons, I want to take a second. I need to deliver a message. I should have done this a little bit earlier, but this is coming from Sir Ike. If you, for the supply drop or the Canary Cry T-shirt council, if you're on the T-shirt council, you should have a survey in your inbox to help us decide the future of humanity and the next Canary Cry T-shirt. Excuse me, I got a burp building up. Show burps. Check your email box, search for Canary Cry T-shirt council. It should be in there. You got to go take that survey and you got to do it quickly. But if you have an address change for supply drop or T-shirt council, you have an address you got to change or a size you got to change, a T-shirt size you want to change, send an email to canarycrysupply_drop@gmail.com. Canary Cry supply drop at gmail.com. Yeah. And get that over there quick for your address change or T-shirt size change. Do it.
Nice.
And,
Did we?
go
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, did we drop the story about Massey dropping the bill to get us out of NATO?
Yeah, we did. We dropped it.
Okay.
We've done that before. We can talk about it later if you want.
Okay.
And before we go
Sweet.
on, just big shout out to everybody in the Canary Cry text message alert system. We had a nice chunk of people join recently, and if you haven't joined, you should do it. Don't wait for YouTube to send you a notification. Don't wait for Rumble or whoever to send you a notification when we're live, because they don't do it. But if you text the word canary to 877-740-3226, I'll say it one more again. That's just the word canary to 877-740-3226. Then you'll start receiving text messages from me before every show to let you know we're going live, and it's great. And the fun part is you can text us back at that number. It's very fun. I cannot carry on a text conversation with you because it's very expensive for us. But we do get your messages. I want to give a shout out to 484. Texted today, says love you guys, with a heart and a prayer hand emoji. 406 says, I love that you guys have started including the showtime in the email. Have a great show. That's right. We never pitch the newsletter, and we really should more often, but we do have a newsletter. You can get it sent straight to your inbox. Again, before every show, it's got all sorts of fun stuff in there, but also a good reminder we're going live. 661 texts and says, hope this message finds you well, still watching and chatting on Twitch. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Our lone Twitch guy. I want to know if there's more than one. I think it's just one guy on Twitch.
How do we capture the Twitch audience? Do we have to do something? Do we just have to play video games? What do we do?
Twitch used to be our biggest streaming outlet until they banned us. Let's see here. We got some for the producers here in a second. Gun 678 says, bless y'all, brothers. If you could just lift up my family at this time and this real estate debacle that is still at play, we'd really appreciate it. We're trying to do the right thing, even if we have to take a hit. Love from the ATL and baby Bella. Let's call the producers.
Let's do it.
Producers, assemble!
That's right. What's better than producing the show? Spiritually producing the show. It's the prayers of everybody who's keeping not just the show alive, but Gons and I alive, and the rest of our producers. So everybody can be a producer. Just do it now. We're praying for 678, who sounds like having some issues with a real estate debacle that is plaguing the family there. They've got a cute little baby called baby Bella as well. They're trying to do the right thing, and that's very difficult. These ongoing bureaucratic sort of demonic things are just truly suck your spirit dry. But the Lord it's one of these very testing sort of times. If anybody has ever had one of these like long-term economic or bureaucratic debacles that just drag on for days and weeks and months and maybe even years. It's really tough. It's really rough, but it's really it's an opportunity to lean into God, lean in the Father, both personally and as a family. And when it will be over someday, that's the beautiful thing. That is the promise. It will be over someday. And it may not make any sense, and you might not see God's hand in it until it's over. But in my experience, when that time does come, you look back and you just see all the little ways that God was playing a vital role in getting you out of that situation. So praying that for you, 678, and everybody out there, pray that as well.
Yep.
Let's see here. One last one. 707 said, heard the episode with Nephilim Death Squad. So good. Thank you, 707.
Hey, thank you.
Go check it out, folks. If you haven't seen it yet, I sent it out in the email. But Nephilim Death Squad, cool guys, podcast, kind of some new guys in our, couple years, 2023. But cool to see what they're doing over there. We had a great episode. The Lord really moved. So there you go. Text the word canary to 877-740-3226.
Okay. Let's talk about value for value.
Let's do it.
Value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
But we're not going to thank producers quite yet because
don't switch it off. Okay.
Yeah, this is a story or a series of stories relating to
a state of play. We've got a state of play. We've got a state of beast here, state of podcasting, and it's very interesting. Part of my job is to thanklessly stay connected to the just complete chaos that is the sort of podcastosphere and the bigger podcastosphere. Yes, it is the nature of the beast that it is more conservative, but it is also extremely independent. And we've watched over many years podcasts go from, what is it? It's like internet radio, to the most influential sort of media type in the world right now. It's deciding leaders of nations, etc.
Mhm.
And it's been interesting through the election, this previous election, that really saw a whole class of podcaster, whether they be political podcasters or comedians or whatever, really destroy the final vestiges of the sort of respect for the mainstream media. And in essence, as we've documented through the whole process, become sort of the mainstream themselves, which has a huge, it's had a huge hand in the sort of shifting of political demographics and perhaps even spiritual demographics. We're now watching that sort of podcast mainstream sort of wrestle with Christianity, which is affecting the sort of spiritual ideas of tons of people. And it is so difficult. You finally actually had these stats, right? Did you pull up the state?
one?
Do you still have those stats that you were reading me about the retention? Okay.
Oh, yes, I
Let's
do.
actually
Yeah.
start with the retention.
Let's
Just
start with the
pull that
retention.
up
Okay.
and just get to those numbers you were telling me. We don't need to
Sure.
read the whole thing necessarily.
Sure. Okay.
But
So,
you hear well,
Mhm.
hold on, let me set you up for it.
All right.
You hear us complain all the time about, numbers and stupid stuff like that, and just wondering what's going on, and talking about how so many people are fatigued and nobody wants to, be, I don't know, up to date on what's going along, and it's just exhausting. And, it's been a little bit of a spirit lifting thing, Gons, when I listen to all the other podcasts that are just doing their thing, the Tim Pools, the Russell Brands, the Joe Rogans, the blah blah blah, because we're not the only one experiencing this. There seems to be this interesting collapse in podcast intake, podcast listenership, right? And before I get into it more, this article was actually, it raised my spirits a little bit, because I had heard of all the other podcasters complaining about everything. And I'm like, okay, at least we're not the only ones suffering from this. But somebody actually did the study, although there's some kind of weird things about the study, which we will mention now. But tell us about this, guys.
Okay. All right. This is coming from insiderradio.com. Study finds podcasting faces retention hurdle. Okay. And this is mainly about podcast creators. It says here, producing a weekly podcast is tougher than it looks. Thank you. Somebody else acknowledging this thing that we've been wrestling with for so long. And a new Sounds Profitable study, Sounds Profitable is the name of the study, shows just how demanding the craft can be.
Ooh.
Man, I
Feels
can
so
feel
seen.
our hearts
Feels so
getting
seen.
filled back up. While some more people than ever are trying their hand at podcasting, the Creators 2025 report finds that sustaining a show remains the real hurdle, with 1/3 of novice creators stepping back after learning what's required. 1/3 are just devils.
I think it's
They are
higher.
they are the rebel angels. They cannot handle the truth, the light that is podcasting. That's 33%, by the way. The study also provides new clarity about who is most likely to leave podcasting behind. Some groups show significantly higher abandonment rates than others, underscoring that the creator economy's retention challenges are not evenly distributed. Okay. All right. So here's the list. All right. Here's how it breaks down. LGBTQ plus creators and adults aged 55 and older experience the steepest drop-off, which churn rates at 40%, meaning that, if you're LGBTQ plus or you're 55 and older, those people that start a podcast, up to 40% of them quit, right? They can't keep it going. These are the highest overall, Hispanic creators who also show the highest overall engagement with an 18% participation rate. See, I want to know is that 18% of Hispanics have podcasts? Is that what
No,
they're saying?
I think they're saying 18% of podcasts are done by Hispanic.
I see. Okay. Okay. All right. That makes more sense. See that 35% churn rate, indicating that strong entry does not necessarily translate into long-term sustainability.
You're telling me.
Men, 33% churn rate.
Yeah.
White creators also 33% churn rate. Basil, you are guilty of both white and man.
Yeah.
And you are double 33. I don't know what to do with that.
I am not in the churn rate though. I'm outside of the 30.
True. You're right. You're kind, I should say. Your kind is contributing to that 33 really hard. Show above average levels of quitting. In contrast, Asian creators have the lowest rate of abandonment at 23%.
Wow.
Followed by Black creators at 27%. Women creators show a 31% churn rate. Look at that. Asians doing better than women. Check that out. Slightly better than men. The report calls this retention challenge one of the most pressing issues facing the podcast ecosystem. So what I'm getting here is that my kind and our relentless, sort of hard-headed, I don't know, stubbornness has rubbed off on a white male to keep
My
going.
question is why in the world are they breaking it down into racial categories?
This is their
What does that
framework.
have
This
to
is
do with anything?
This is
As
the rulers they've been handed in their generation are all measured race.
Genetics decide whether you keep podcasting or you don't keep podcasting. It's an insane way to do this study.
I know maybe they're having some feelings because they're 55 and older and LGBTQ plus have the highest churn rates. So
LGBTQ plus is a category, and then black and whites, and it's just such a bizarre.
LGBTQ plus are their own race now. You know?
Yeah, exactly. They are
their own kind.
Maybe we got to find the actual, not go into it now, but I want to go into this because I'm going to be
the sound profitable study.
Oh, download the full report here. Okay,
there you go. Look at that.
Got the full
on
report.
that. Let's see the full report. And now we are on a list. Thank you.
So, so it's even interesting that these like industry reports are coming out about how tough it is. What?
Look at this. This study is sponsored by ESPN Podcasts, American Public Media, NPR, BetterHelp, which is a huge company that advertises in podcasting, Sirius XM Media. So this is sponsored by the biggest names.
Yeah, of course.
Biggest. Okay, so this is like, all right, well, that makes a little more sense as to why they did the categories.
They've got, as we've always said, the money makes things real, and the academics are the are like the magicians of that, right? The money goes to the academics, and the academics basically decide that something's real. And in this case, the academics are focusing on podcasting, and in this case, the sort of hopelessness that is the life of a podcaster. And I don't think it's an accident that in an industry like ours, where unlike us, the success metrics are very clear, right? You've got number of viewers, number of downloads, transfers over to a number of sponsorship, which is money, which is success. It's a very clear pipeline. It's very almost automated, very computational, right? And much like how we see social media sort of start to quantize kids' lives, and it's done nothing but bring them sadness and, sure,
depression.
a couple kids will become, famous influencers and make a bunch of money, and those will be the ones that will like encourage everybody else to say, oh, I can do that. But it inevitably leads to depression, psychological problems, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. in this, this is kind of putting that into the podcaster sort of space, which I think is interesting and I think is quite right, because it is a difficult thing to do, but specifically we're in an interesting transitionary time right now. Now, here we go. This was all preamble for something interesting we just saw happen. All the podcasters are complaining that people aren't listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
The academics, they're showing that podcasters are quitting, probably because nobody is listening to the podcast. We know that.
Well, the money issue with the, because so many podcasters rely on advertising.
All advertising.
And the more celebrities and famous people and athletes come in, they're going to attract the sponsorships first. It's not going to be the podcaster that's been doing it for 3-4 years. It's going to be the celebrity. And this is actually an issue with athlete podcasts. There's every NBA player is starting to have a podcast. And I think there was a story a few weeks ago where a big sponsor gave this pretty, well-known athlete who started a podcast, big contract and sponsorship and all this. And the company was horrified when they actually looked at the numbers of the podcast, because they were like, wait a minute, they only have like 5,000 views or downloads or something like that. We gave them $500,000 for advertising.
It would blow your mind, folks. Even now, you all heard me complain about this when Russell Brand started. Okay.
Right,
Russell Brand for me really was the tipping point where before Russell Brand, it was supposed to be, media of the people. No gatekeepers. Anybody can do it. It's
before
for
Russell Brand.
You don't need to impress anybody. You don't need to meet a producer. You don't need to be let into the club, etc. That's what podcasting for the people, right? And I share this. We've felt this way all along, but we also share this with, of course, Adam Curry, the inventor of the technology for podcasting, friend of the show. I can say because he's been on once.
Yeah.
And where I was like, oh, Russell Brand. But it was really not
after Russell Brand,
not the current Russell Brand. Okay. A lot of people don't get this. The current Russell Brand is not how Russell Brand started podcasting. He started podcasting before COVID and everything, and was really in an instant extremely popular. There's some, and now it means nothing because everybody's used to it now, but the fact that an actual celebrity, an already famous person, got into the media of the people was incredibly offensive to me. Because he instantly basically,
he was one of the first ones to be like, hey, I'm Christian now. And,
that all came later, though. That all came later.
Was that later? Okay.
He's only been a Christian for about a year. So that's what I'm saying. It's hard. You can't compare the Russell Brand of today with the Russell Brand of like 2018 or 19. But it doesn't matter. The point being that was one phase that brought podcasting into a level that it had never been in before, when a celebrity started doing it, and you could just listen to the celebrity, and did great things for podcast. A lot of people discovered podcasts because of celebrities doing it, but at the same time, it's easy to get a little resentful of already rich and famous millionaires coming in and like slumming it on the internet.
Yeah.
But however, we're in this next phase, and this next phase is podcasts are the media. They are mainstream. It's no longer automatically alt or independent media. And I'm talking the ones that we know, the ones on the right, the conservatives. They really are the ones who were able to, because conservatism was like this underground, not cool thing, not represented in the media at all, the mainstream media. That's why the conservatives really were able to craft,
galvanize
this idea that podcasting is even legit. Took it to the next level. Not that they were rich and famous before, but that the podcasting made them rich and famous. And I'm talking Tim Pool, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson's not a great example. He's got his own thing going on, but that type, right? And because of the business we're in, I got to pay attention to all these people, and it's exhausting. I understand why everybody's leaving podcasting, because
it's become the mind control hammer of podcasting has become very powerful. It's almost overpowering. People are going back to mainstream because it was simpler.
it's congealed into this really exhausting space. And Guns, you and I, we struggle with this all the time. But the example I'm going to give is the past, maybe I'll say week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Every single episode of every single big podcast has been about Candace Owens and TPUSA and Charlie Kirk. And even worse, it's not about those things. It's not about TPUSA.
It's like the
and Charlie
ideology
Kirk.
culture war surrounding all of those things.
It's about the interpersonal battles between Candace Owens and whoever. You know, it's Candace just happens to be the center of all this, and she's making enemies, and she makes enemies with Tim Pool, and she makes enemies with TPUSA. And like I mentioned, I actually talked about this on Canary Cry Clubhouse last Thursday. I think it's because most of her it's very female coded. Most of her viewers are female, actually. She's very female coded. I mean, she's obviously a female, but everything from the aesthetics to the framing of things to the format of the show tends to be pretty female coded. And I think she is the only podcaster who has majority female listeners, at least in this space, of course. But oh my gosh, again, Tim Pool, what's this other guy? I should just pull it up because I can't just keep saying Tim Pool. So for some reason, he's the one that just comes up all the time.
A lot of Tim Pool talk.
What's his name? Hold on, I gotta. Oh, there it is. Oh, come on! Don't do this to me. I mean, from Sam Tripoli to Jimmy Dore to Russell Brand. Did I mention Tim Pool? To Dark Horse. Everybody, every single major member of this sort of part of the industry cannot, will not, and should, but does not stop talking about not even the matter at hand, which is the investigation of Charlie Kirk, but Candace is crazy, is basically the long and short of it. Candace is crazy. Candace is at war with Tim Pool, but Jimmy Dore is siding with Candace. And
it's a reality TV show. This is no longer about the issue.
That is a great way to put it, Gon, because I don't know if anybody, I mean, God bless, you probably don't, and good for you. It's kind of like the reality TV industry right now, because what's happening with the reality TV industry, it used to be that random people got on these shows, and that's what that. They're all trading cast members. Like the Mormon Wives show is now The Bachelor, and the Vanderpump Villa guy is now on this other show. They're all just trading around. They're all professional reality TV show members, and they're just doing crossover episodes, and that's the whole thing. There's nobody new in there. It's very similar to what we're seeing with this dang mainstream conservative podcasting community. And I think that's where a lot of the fatigue is coming from. Now, we struggle with it all the time, being like, well, should we talk about this thing with Candace? Because like other people are, and they have lots of listeners. So obviously somebody wants to talk about Candace. Or what about this new detail in the Charlie Kirk assassination? Should we do that? I mean, again, every other person is doing it. So people must want to hear about it. But because of my fatigue with that whole scene, it just feels wrong. I'm like, no, I will die on this hill of not being like all those successful.
I can relate to, because I close out of X quite a bit, because when I hop on the timeline, it's a lot of Christians, a lot of Christian content creators with an opinion about either for Candace Owens or against it, and it is exhausting.
Yeah,
it's absolutely exhausting. And I'm not saying it's not an important conversation, because I think for the generation that's new to all this stuff, this might be the most important thing right now. Right now, this is the critical mass of and they're going to feel that way because we did. I know I did at certain points.
The news of Candace getting in a fight with Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder taking somebody's side, and they're all
I got text
creating-
messages. I got screenshots of text
They're-
messages.
They're sort of it's sort of devolving. I don't think it's evolving. It's
No, it is
devolving
devolving. You're
into
right.
one giant sort of reality TV show, but it's spread throughout like 12 different shows, right? It's all
Yeah.
happening. They're all talking about the same thing. And they're the ones making all the money. So I mean, what do we do? But at the same time, the industry is kind of getting totally destroyed, which I'm not actually totally against.
You know
Look,
why? Because you know who's gonna be there when this whole thing is in shambles and it's a dystopic wasteland. It's Canary Cry. We're gonna be sitting there. We're gonna be like,
baby.
we told you. We
We've
told you
made it
this is a
this
bad
long.
idea.
We've made it this long. We have decided to separate ourselves from that entire,
we've
economic
decoupled from
system. We're
all- yeah.
decoupled. We have like, I mean, the overhead compared to these big shows is insane. I mean, Tim Pool has like 40 like employees and like two giant studio buildings, and same with Russell Brand. They all have this very highly intense production thing, which does their production value is high. I mean, their cameras are great. Their guests, they fly in guests so they can do it in person. They don't do Zoom. A lot of these podcasters are making and spending like $10 million a year to do what they're doing. It totally.
What would we do with $10 million, Basil? Would we hire a bunch of people?
Depends where the $10 million came from.
Isn't
I
that
would-
the case? Isn't that the
there
case?
are very select. We could probably change our entire lives, Guns, if we just had one person that could do some certain parts of the job for us.
That's true. You're right.
And if
Yeah, a
that
small
person
part,
needs to make 9 of the $10 million to make our lives easier, then I might be open to that. So, okay, I swear I'm coming to a point here. We're not just complaining. So, with all this thing, the Charlie Kirk, the Candace, everybody's obsessed. Nobody's talking about anything else. It's the most important thing. People are dropping off. It's exhausting, blah, 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 blah. TPUSA, who has their own shows. There's the Charlie Kirk show, but I think they have some others too. I don't do that. I don't know. Not for any reason. They're just not on my list. Okay. So I don't hear their thing 24/7. But the thing with TPUSA is they started, I mean, Charlie Kirk was one of the rogue independent online conservatives, right? That's how he started. He was an essential sort of member of that storyline, and really is an example, maybe the example of how independent podcasting, conservative podcasting has evolved, and in his case to TPUSA, which is a major international political organization. A lot of people agree Trump would not be president if it wasn't for TPUSA. Then they have TPUK and they have TP, wherever. They're all over the place. International sort of thing that it's grown into with hundreds of millions of dollars and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And God help me if I have to hear one more podcaster talk about TPUSA's tax filings, I'm going to burn something down. I cannot.
They make $80 million a year.
And it's all people who know nothing about anything, Anyways, yes, it's it's getting serious. That's how obsessed it is. Now, one of the things Candace says was, if Erika asked me to stop, I would stop. That's what she said early on. And up until recently, we had never heard Erika say to stop. I mean, TPUSA has been not really responding to Candace, which makes everybody more suspicious. TPUSA is really kind of, getting into a phalanx mode. And now they have a bunch of pastors and stuff. They've really turned into this almost religious organization. And they've turtle shelled really against the Candace thing. And there's a whole bunch of weird stuff going on there. Not going to get into it. But they haven't really stood out and responded. They've kind of let the hullabaloo happen around them. They're kind of staying out of it. They're kind of, saying as little as they can to just keep moving until Erika Kirk showed up on Fox News. And we have this moment where this almost diabolical congealing, this fatiguing, just irritating entire conservative podcasting industry, all talking about the same thing. And it's just, everybody's mad at each other and going to war with each other. And everybody's trying to tear each other down. And it's madness. And TPUSA letting it happen, letting really the bonfire go insane.
Yeah.
And not coming out and responding, in this case with Erika, not on a podcast. TPUSA is sort of signaling here, hey, podcastosphere, maybe we were in your crowd, maybe we were in your industry, whatever, but we're finally going to respond, and we're going to do it on mainstream news. She goes on Fox News. Now,
Murdoch's.
People who watch mainstream news, all of them, not just Fox, all of them, are the average age of about 70 years old. So it's the same. Most of the people who get their news from the mainstream are about 70 years old, and they're not in the podcastosphere. Some of them are. I know we have some great mature people who listen to this show, but as a population, they're locked in on mainstream media. Very few of them are
It's
over on the independent.
Are they the boomers? The boomers, and they have all the money too? Is that?
Yeah,
I
guess
the
boomers
conversation.
are 70 now. Yeah, that's weird to think, but
Yeah.
the boomers are about 70.
And there's a big economic change of hands happening from boomers to the following generations. So I mean, just back in your mind,
there's a lot wrapped up in this.
Yeah,
And
a lot
that's
wrapped
the thing. There's a lot wrapped up in all of this. Because of course, and there's no way to avoid this part of it, we've all heard Candace bringing in tons of different, I guess, suspects, but included in the suspects, of course, happened almost immediately, was Israel. And I mean, this was like 2 days later, people were talking about Israel. Then, his text messages and and Israel's all involved. And then Bibi Netanyahu comes out and makes the thing, right? Ian Carroll, that's another one of the guys too.
Oh yeah.
The Israel focus is kind of hard to remember because it's been 3 months and it's so hard to get outside of like the fishbowl of time that we're in right now, because we take a lot of things for granted, much like taking for granted that Russell Brand is a Christian. That happened very recently.
Yeah.
And this focus, this huge, massive focus on Israel is also pretty new in its current form.
Well, you know what? You're right. We do forget because, when I was discussing similar issues, it's not to this political heated debate it is now, but just more of a background type of coming at it from the eschatological Bible prophecy perspective. 10 years ago, talking about this issue, it was very taboo to discuss it, and there were people discussing it here and there. Some of those folks in this last maybe 3-4 months since the murder of Charlie Kirk they've exploded. Now they are the ones being brought up, and maybe Nick Fuentes represented that line or that tree. The tree of those folks critical of political Zionism, or more colloquially, they might use the word Jews, right? And whether I don't think they're using it necessarily properly there, but in any case, that's happened, and it's very recent.
It's very, very recent, and it's easy to forget that.
It's easy to forget, and a lot of Christian leaders that may not have been paying attention to this stuff have all sorts of opinions about all of this, and I think that's why, maybe because I forget that they have not been looking at this for a decade like we have.
Now,
yes,
we still don't know what the deal is. Nobody trusts the FBI story. Candace has 100 different theories. Israel is even just now one of many theories, right?
We are a global production company.
Yeah,
exactly. And so look, I'm not throwing my I have we have so many more important things necessarily that are broad, meta, global, spiritual, forever issues that we like to focus on a little bit more, right? Not to say that none of that is important, but it's just not the most important, and there's 1,000 other people talking about it. But the idea of it being Israel, it was the first theory that's thrown out. There's now been 100 different theories. TPUSA has both been, or has been both, or depending on how you look at it, has been one or the other, either very quiet, maybe suspiciously quiet, or kind of, I don't know if dishonest is the right word, but suspicious, just suspicious in the way that they're, answering or not answering certain questions. But now Erika Kirk goes on Fox, and here's just 1 minute, and this is her response. This is technically the moment that Candace says, if Erika says stop, that she would stop. But Erika, instead of putting out a podcast or a post or something like that, she goes on Fox News, delivering this message to Candace Owens and others in her group on the mainstream media, to probably a bunch of 70-year-olds who probably don't know what's going on and how crazy it is. My question is, does it matter if they know or not? I don't know. We'll figure that out. But here's Erika Kirk on Fox.
After me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode,
more than that,
going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do. We have a hell of a teamwork.
What? Stop it for a second. Okay. Just for fun, okay. You just got to notice in her response, if you want to back it up to about 39 seconds. Just know, this is just, look, we're just analyzing the news here. Okay. She gets a little tongue-tied. She does put a real emphasis on one part of that word. Let's do it.
Yes, I believe in our judicial system. Judicial system. Judicial system.
Oh, you got the ISO. Okay.
Judicial system.
Okay, look, I don't know. I'm not taking any sides. I'm just saying it was an unfortunate tongue-tie moment for
Is this what they call a Freudian slip? Is this what they call? Is this a spiritual leaking through? She's spiritually leaking like a loose faucet. I don't know what's going on.
It's a hard word to pronounce, Gons, and you gotta spell it out phonetically sometimes. The judicial system. Just got to point that out. I don't know which side of the fence I land on, but it was just all things considered. And you got to remember, when it comes to the mainstream and analyzing this sort of mainstream thing, I'm certainly not saying she did it on purpose. It is an unfortunate piece of tongue-tied speaking. But bigger, broader things are often revealed on accident. And I'm just waiting for that particular clip to show up on Candace Owens' show. And she goes, oh my gosh, she said it. It's right there. We know who did it.
Well, we'll do it for her.
Judicial system.
We are a global production company.
There you go.
The script writes itself.
It's just right there, man.
Writes itself.
All right, let's play the last few seconds of it.
Okay, all right. Let me pull it back. We'll get one more time, and then we'll do it.
This is a mind virus. Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do. We have a hell of a team working on this. Excuse my French. But this is not okay.
So you want to put these people back in the box where they've been creeping from?
I don't care what box you're in.
Okay.
What a weird thing for that news person to say. You want to put these people back in the box that they were creeping from. And again, she's saying this on mainstream Fox News. Go back in your box, podcasters. Stay in your lane. Okay. You're not, look, I'm on mainstream. We made it. This is what we're going for. We've reached the pinnacle. We're on Fox. You stay in your box, you crazy podcasters.
You know, this is
very interesting. Just one more comment.
Okay.
Very interesting how the woman that is interviewing her on Fox News is like the spitting image of Candace Owens.
Candace Owens proxy.
Yeah.
The good one.
I wonder
the good female black lady.
I wonder if the producers, I mean, I'm sure the producers of the show are like, okay, she's out.
Of course
She's
they
gonna be
are.
responding to Candace Owens. Let's get our Candace Owens clone in there. So she's staring right at Candace. She'll get mad, you know. She can
staring at Candace.
Yeah, there'll be some sort of magic happens if we have Erika staring right at a Candace clone talking about this.
Yeah. You know, we have identified this symbiotic relationship between the mainstream media and alt-stream media, where the mainstream says ridiculous things and then alt-stream has content to break down those lies or the propaganda or whatever it might be. And it's fascinating to watch this instance of Erika Kirk, TPUSA, getting to the point where their defense or their sort of response to the alt world, you know, breaking apart, doing what they always do in a sense, doing what the internet always does and analyzing and maybe overanalyzing the situation, goes on mainstream and feeds the alt media. This is like they get to make their point and they get to keep their donors or whatever it is, whatever financial sort of incentives there are there. They get to do all that, plus they get to feed the alt media. This, you don't think Candace Owens is thrilled about this particular segment on Fox News? I mean, she has it in her on today's show. Erika Kirk goes off on conspiracy theorists. Parenthetical read me. Will this? It was just about Candace Owens, Basil. It was not about all podcasters. Just about her. Will this strategy work on the general public? We learn about what Erika told Barry Weiss about those pesky Egyptian planes. And to be honest, it's weird.
She's a pro. She's a pro.
7.5 million followers, millions of views. I mean, yeah, the whole thing.
So
She's a pro.
We're at this inflection point, and it's almost like this replaying. It's almost like a Masonic
new actors.
It's almost like a Masonic allegorical ritual. Almost we're watching in a way. Not to say that anybody's Masonic on this, but who knows? I mean, but it's just very interesting. You know, it's almost like playing out is some sort of Solomonic kind of ritual. So we have the mainstream saying, "Get back in the box." Erika Kirk's on the mainstream. Candace, get back in your box. Nobody's listening to you, but I'm saying this to 70-year-olds who probably have no idea what's going on. In the meantime, while Candace is also feuding with Tim Pool, an interesting thing happened. Apparently, according to his telling of the story, and again, goodness gracious, the entire podcastosphere, Tim Pool tells this story, and he tells a story about how late at night somebody drove by his studio and shot at his studio over there in Virginia or wherever he is.
Yikes.
Yeah, which is spooky, kind of crazy, right? He's like, look, this is crazy. First Charlie, now somebody's shooting at my studio, and of course 1,000 podcasters go, I start calling the police to see if they really got reports, and let's see if Tim Pool's lying about somebody shooting. And then Candace posts about it, and it's just this nightmare. Again,
hey, you know who carried the story? Hindustan Times.
Yeah,
Tim Pool shooting motive, why right-wing podcaster was attacked.
That's
Update on gunman.
which is hilarious because he was not attacked. He was not at the studio. Tim Pool never even, he just kind of told the story like, yeah, somebody drove by our studio and shot last night. It's on our cameras. Nobody was there, but it's on our cameras and it scared the chickens or something. And then all the mainstream reporting is just like, oh, Tim Pool survives vicious attack. But anyways, so Tim Pool says, look, the 19th of December, we go on break for Christmas, and it might be our last show for Timcast IRL because they have guests. They bring guests to the studio, so it's not just, there's a lot of people would be put in danger if that happened while people were there. And he's like, we can't pay for that kind of security. It's just a nightmare. This might shut down the thing. I don't know who did this, but it, after Charlie, I'm not taking any chances. And everybody's like, oh no, Timcast IRL is going to be gone. But then he says he's having a meeting with Rumble. And when he says he's having a meeting with Rumble, what he means is he's talking about the Rumble lineup in quotes.
Rumble, by the way, lots of shares owned by BlackRock and State Street and all of these big Wall Street guys. So yeah, we were all told this is the conservative, future of media. Get off YouTube, get off woke YouTube, get on Rumble.
And if not conservative, at least sort of free, free speech kind of thing. So the Rumble lineup, if you don't know, Rumble plays a live feed on their front page. I don't know if it's 24/7, but they have their own feed. And it's basically like a television channel. They're sort of reenacting linear TV, meaning there's a stream that just goes like 24/7, and they have made deals with content creators who post on Rumble to be part of the Rumble lineup, meaning they have this hybrid thing going on where anybody can put their stuff on Rumble, but also there's like a chosen bullpen of official Rumble lineup, Rumble guys. And this, includes Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, Russell Brand. It's all these guys,
They got a badge. They got a little Rumble logo badge next to their name, right?
Yeah. They even call it on their corporate website. They called Rumble unveils Rumble Live, a linear live streaming setup.
Okay.
Linear TV, like the TV that's dead and is never coming back, because why would you sit and watch a TV? Oh, wait, people who are watching Fox have not moved away from linear TV.
Yeah.
The boomers who are getting mostly mainstream news, they still turn on the TV and just watch whatever's on. I know, Gen Z, I get it. It's an ancient concept, but that's how we all used to live. Viva Fry, The Quartering. There's just some more examples of people on the Rumble lineup. Well, Tim Pool, sort of, I don't know, cheekily, but basically says they're going to have a meeting with Rumble and the whole Rumble lineup about consolidating all of their production into one sort of defensible, it's all in the name of security, one defensible studio. Kind of like how Hollywood did and does, where, decentralized media, that's really what we should be calling all of this, is decentralized media. This is what gave the power to the people, the ability to make any media, to put it out there. Nobody, it's made in a million different places. There's a million different houses and studios and garages where this media is created and it's put out there, and there's not one media company that controls it all. Well, Rumble, free speech Rumble, who is the pinnacle of decentralized media. We won't ban anybody. You can stay on forever. Well, they're transitioning back to a linear television style. They're re-centralizing. They're taking the guys, the sort of stars of decentralized alt media, and bringing them. They're talking. We don't know if it's going to happen for sure, but this is the impression that's being given, is they will be talking about basically creating like a Warner Brothers lot. If
Right. A
anybody's been to-
fortress. The content making fortress.
Right. If anybody's been to Hollywood or LA, you got your Warner Brothers lot, you got your Paramount lot, and they're basically, like you say, fortresses. They're like the closest thing that we have to like castles in this country.
Yeah.
And, there'll be 100 movies all shooting at the same time on this one complex, and it has a wall around it, and it has guards, and it has snipers on towers, and it has, whatever. And so because of the Tim Pool incident, there's now talk about taking, maybe it's more too. I don't know if it could be more, could be less, but they're at least talking with the Rumble lineup, which is about a dozen people, about coming together in Florida, making a compound, re-centralizing conservative media. I'll say in this case, re-centralizing conservative media, and paying one security company $1 million a year instead of all these guys having to pay their own $1 million a year for security, because they really do. I mean, the level of security that Tim Pool needs, apparently, or at least has, it's in the 7 figures a year just for the guys with guns, of which there are many. At least that's what he says, etc. So we're moving. We're the cycle of time, Gons, the grand cycle of time, watching the rise and fall of centralized media, the rise of decentralized media, back to the fall to centralized media, whether it's Erika Kirk going on to Fox News as a show of force against Candace, or it's the Rumble, freedom of speech Rumble, re-centralizing into a Hollywood-style compounder studio to run a linear stream for 24 hours a day. We're in a very, very interesting period. And on top of that, Gons, we're starting to get some mainstream podcast awards, not just an iHeartRadio award, not just a Podcasty award, but podcasts as a medium starting to get recognized in the sort of Hollywood entertainment, legacy, institutional controlled media space.
Yeah. So this is coming from Vanity Fair. And the headline here is Conservative Podcasters Got Shut Out of Controversial New Golden Globe Category.
Oh, the Golden Globes giving a podcast award. Okay.
Yes. After making the short list, the Joe Rogan Experience, the Tucker Carlson Show, and the Ben Shapiro Show didn't make the final cut. An interesting twist in an inaugural category that's already seen its fair share of drama. And we don't have to go through the article. I'll read a little bit here from the text version. It says here, for the first time ever, the 2026 Golden Globes will honor excellence in an audio medium, nominated 6 shows for the award's new Best Podcast category. After announcing a short list of 25 podcasts eligible for the award this fall, the Golden Globes wound up nominating the following starry podcasts.
Okay, who is it? Are we in there?
Armchair Expert with
Of
Dax
course.
Shepard.
Celebrity,
I don't know
long-time
who that is.
celebrity.
I don't know. I have no
Long-time movie star.
Call Her Daddy.
Of course.
That's the one with the girl or the
One
gals.
Pamela went on, and the embarrassment that was that.
Right. Good Hang with Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler, longtime
Another
television
comedian
star.
or television star,
movie
yeah.
star, yeah.
The Mel Robbins Podcast.
I don't know who Mel Robbins is, but I could guess that they're a TV star.
Smart Less.
Yeah, that's Jason. Does that have their names?
No, it just says
three very famous TV and movie stars.
The Jason Statham.
No, I was gonna say that.
That would be awesome. And Up First.
Up First.
Okay.
Does it have a name?
Nope, just says Up First. That's the name of the show.
Now remember, you made a great point with the celebrity, the athlete show, the incident where a brand gave a ton of money to a really famous athlete to do a podcast, and he got like 5,000 listens, right? A good example of just because they're a celebrity doesn't mean that they're very highly listened to. And in this case, by what metric are they choosing these podcasts?
Oh, I got it right here.
Admittedly, a few of them are very popular. Call Her Daddy, I think, sold the show for $100 million.
Yeah.
Another re-centralization. Yeah, give me more info while I look this up.
Okay, so it says here the drama began when the Globes first announced the category's birth in May. Top 25 podcasts for consideration. Ultimately, the list was determined by the #1 global audio data analytics firm, Luminate.
Never heard of them. Literally
Luminate,
never heard
baby.
of Luminate.
Luminate is and I looked it up. It is a luminatedata.com.
The data analytics thing.
Yes, unleashing entertainment's essential data, the most comprehensive analytics platform revealing the trends, behaviors, and insights across film, television, and music. And they had I thought they had a graphic here where they showed, maybe it was somewhere else, and maybe it was an about or something, where they showed the evolution of, oh, here we go. Yeah. A look back. Okay. So they've been around for a while. In the 1990s, Billboard begins using broadcast data systems, electronically tracked airplay monitoring systems. So there you go. That's BDS radio and Billboard. Then in the 1991, Billboard begins using SoundScan's electronically monitored POS information. That was Nielsen and SoundScan. In 1999, TV Tracker is founded. And in 2011, Variety acquires TV Tracker, rebrands to Variety Insight. And now, with the tradition, now they are called
so that
Luminate.
keeps scrolling, Gons. That timeline, you can keep scrolling. It basically just lists all of the data analytics companies over the many years.
Announced, in the 2022, announced a rebrand as Luminate at South by Southwest. Expanded music coverage to 48 new countries, yada yada yada. So they've gone through several forms, I suppose.
What's a cabal? It is a
cabal,
of data analytics, which controls the money, controls
entertainment, entertainment analytics
industry, right? Okay,
yeah. So
yeah,
they chose they are the kingmakers apparently.
Did they say how they chose it? Did they say?
Oh yeah, right here. They measured the popularity of potential honorees based on stats like downloads, revenue, and chart placement. Which, by the way, if you're talking about
no possible way that Joe Rogan
I was gonna say there's no way those 6 podcasts in the on the final list out profited or out revenued Joe Rogan or Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens.
There's I mean, I don't know about the others, but the fact that Joe Rogan's not even on the list shows that this is not an objective quantitative list. This is the establishment, Hollywood establishment, entertainment media, again, centralizing their own institutions in these things. I get it. Somebody complained that Joe Rogan wasn't on there.
Yeah, some people did, but here I have this other part from the article. Once the eligible players were set, campaigning for one of the categories' 6 coveted spots began. Historically, the Golden Globes have been no stranger to scandal and accusations of fostering a pay-to-play ethos, and the podcast award was no exception to that. After weathering a series of scandals in the early 2020s that led to the ceremony going off air in 2022, the Golden Globes were bought by Penske Media Corporation. Penske also owns Rolling Stone, Billboard, and Gold Derby, as well as trade outlets Variety, The Hollywood Reporter.
Those are all companies listed on Luminate's history.
Yes.
So Luminate is just the same company.
Yeah. And Deadline. Publications whose bread and butter is awards season coverage. After Penske purchased the awards show, some cried foul, accusing the media conglomerate of engaging in a massive conflict of interest. Oh, by the way, Penske also owns Luminate, which determined the award-eligible podcast.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, come on. This is legacy flexing.
It's the re-centralizing of decentralized media.
It's almost like
on all sides here.
Well, it seems as if we just ebb and flow. There's nothing new under the sun. And it seems to just ebb and flow to centralization of power and then decentralization, almost as if it is a pattern set biblically. You know, when people got together after the flood, they got the Tower of Babel, they're trying to centralize everything, and then God says no, decentralization with the distribution of languages. And then, you know, over time, uh, small pockets of centralized power begin to consummate, but then, you know, a couple thousand years goes by and here we are again, struggling with the same type of archetype, Basil.
Good
Same
point.
type of archetype
And
repeating.
through it all, Gons, the only way to survive is the value for value model, folks.
We finally landed the plane.
Finally got there. It's the only way.
Yes.
And it's the only way this show survives. It's the only way this show has survived. And it's probably the reason why we're going to survive whatever weird sort of cosmic centralization of human consciousness that we're going through right now. And it's very easy. We don't take any money from corporations, commies, cartels, governments, the Vatican. Nobody gives us money to survive except for our producers. And those producers are you. Everybody here is a producer. You can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure, okay? It's not all about money. If you got a skill, if you're an artist, musician, if you've got time on your hands to help us out with stuff on the back end, all of that is included. We've got, you know, if you count it that way, we've got like a cast of hundreds of people that keep this show together. And they're all united, no matter where you are in the world. You're all united a couple times a week during the show, and even sometimes 3 or 4 times a week when we're really excited. But that's right. And we can't survive without you. But it's the value for value model that's kept us. And when I say us, I don't mean just me and Gons. I mean all of us here who listen to the show, participate in the show, watch the show, doesn't matter. There would be no disconnecting from the re-centralization of media if it weren't for the value for value model, because what is the motivator for re-centralization? It's the money, baby. It's the money. It's the advertisers. It's the industry. That's why, especially with the Golden Globe Podcast Awards, you've got the old establishment, the legacy entertainment establishment, looking out for their money. That's what it's all about. And but not here, folks. Here it's just us. It's just us and all of our beautiful producers standing up tall, standing shoulder to shoulder, and making sure that some truly independent media exists as we move into the next phase of the dystopian technocratic state.
We are kind of like a theme park ride, you know? We just kind of keep chugging along. We're not like the roller coasters that'll break, but you know, we get to observe everything, and then
it feels like the teacups sometimes.
It does feel like teacups. Yeah, you're right. But I was thinking more like a lazy river type thing, you know? Where
Lazy river's good. Lazy river
hanging out. We get to see all the drama play out.
So we're going to thank some of our producers here. We're going to start with our extremely short list of producers today, but we did have an executive producer come in and save the day. And I want to thank this executive producer, Chelsea S. Thank you very much. Chelsea S. coming in. Let me see if Chelsea S's producership is a readable amount, because just so everybody knows, when you produce the show, oh, by the way, you can produce the show at canarycry.support. Go check it out. Go there now. Canarycry.support. When you do produce the show, there's lots of options there, fun options, 3333, 1111, 7777, have some fun with the number, whatever. If you come in with a nice round number, a nice solid round number, like on the 10 or something, that's you telling us I'd prefer we don't disclose the amount on the show, because we respect as much privacy as anybody wants. If you don't mind us disclosing the number, you make it something funky, you know, put 33 cents on there, 1234, 1984, you know, pick a date, pick a whatever. That's just you telling us you don't mind us disclosing it on the show. Our beautiful executive producer, Chelsea S., comes in with a nice round number. Thank you very much, Chelsea, for saving the show. And a note that says, Basil and Gons, thank you for all you do. Merry Christmas, Canary fam. Oh, thank you very much, Chelsea.
Thank you, Chelsea. Appreciate you.
Yeah. We also have executive producer Sir LX Protocol
Oh my
V2
gosh.
Baron of the Breen Protocol.
Hey.
Comes in for 100. Comes in for $100.33.
Illuminatus!
He's on a 446 episode streak supporting the show, and this is his 100th executive producer streak.
100 executive streak.
Hey, you said it was his 446th overall?
Yes.
Did we give him 444?
Yes, of course we did.
We did? Okay, I don't remember.
We did.
All right, good.
100 episodes executive
Woo!
producing in a row.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Sir LX Protocol V2 Baron of the Breen Protocol.
Amazing. Thank you so
And
much.
everybody out there should thank our executive producers today because they are the only ones who produce the show. Well, over $7.77. Thank you. I do want to give a shout out to Cage Rattler Coffee.
Cage Rattler Coffee. Yes.
.com, of course.
Sorry, what's going on with my
Panicking.
browser?
Panicking.
There it is. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I had a moment. I glitched out. Sometimes I glitch.
Yeah, it's okay. Go to CageRattlerCoffee.com. Go check it out, folks. Very important.
Cage Rattler Coffee, where value for value never tasted so good.
That's right. Cage Rattler Coffee is coffee roasted in small batches by Canarians, procured by Canarians, packaged and shipped by Canarians. And a small portion of every sale goes to support the show, which we're very grateful for. Go to Cage Rattler Coffee. They got their Coffee of the Month Club is up and running. You can subscribe, support Canarians. I mean, that's the fun part. This is the parallel economy that is going to be an essential part of surviving whatever comes next, is groups like ours, people united in Christ, being very intentional about where we participate economically, and participating economically with people that we have a lot in common with, that we believe with, that we want to support, and we want to support us. So thank you very much to CageRattlerCoffee.com. Everybody go over there, get your coffee. I have it every day. It's a beautiful thing.
Yep, absolutely. Real quick, Basil, I just hit my timeline here.
Yeah, I see.
We got to get going.
We're doing it. We're ending it right now.
Yeah. No, real quick though. Somebody compiled. Do you remember when we would call out mainstream media? People could make montages of all these different stations saying the exact same thing, and the people would make the montage. Well, somebody put together a montage of all of these conservative leaders, and
there's very loud music playing.
Oh, there is. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, you guys heard that, but I don't think.
Okay. So what is this?
Anyway, so somebody put together a bunch of screenshots of the same thing for the Erika Kirk thing. Erika Kirk swarms the internet sleuth. Erika Kirk, scorches Candace Owens. Blah 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 blah. It's like the same format. And they're all saying the same thing.
Yeah. Oh no, that
very familiar.
Conservative in quote unquote influencer space has been shown for what it really is. And they're all taking money for whatever their message is. They did it with Sodagate. They did it with India during the H-1Bs. It's all fake, folks. X is completely filled with
so
people
crazy.
who are there specifically getting paid to put out conservative.
What's driving me crazy are the Christians that were just making like apologetics content before. They get sucked into this conversation, and now they got opinions about Candace Owens every single day, and it's driving me crazy. Sorry, I don't want to mention names, but if you go to my yell at these people, it's like, come on, guys.
You get desperate. You start taking checks to put out messages that somebody wants you to put out there. It's the decentralized Mockingbird media, and there you go. But it's the value for value model that keeps us off of that apparently very
lucrative.
And
it pays to be a propagandist in 2025.
It really does, and it doesn't matter who you're propagandizing for. There's money on both sides to do that.
If you're doing it for Christ, though, seems like we just we just barely make it enough to get by.
Our producers are making it happen for us, and even though there were very few producers that came in for this show, of course, We have our monthly producers, those who are committed to keeping the show going. Whatever the amount is, the amount almost doesn't matter. Of course, it does in practical terms, but the fact that you took the time to click the buttons and said, yes, I get value. I expect to continue to get value. I've gotten value into the past, and joining us, really, I mean, joining with us in a really amazing way to keep us alive, because it's our monthly producers that allow us to look, I mean, forget about 30 days ahead. It's our monthly producers that let us wake up this morning with 0 producers and go, hey, we still got a responsibility to do the show. There are producers who are here supporting us so we can wake up with 0 in the inbox and still say, hey, we got people who are committing their hard-earned whatever, either fiat currency or cryptocurrency or prayers, whatever currency they're in. So a big old shout out to all of our monthly producers. This is the kind of episode that you monthly produce for, and I think it's an important one. So God bless all the monthly producers. You can go to canarycry.support. Pick your own monthly producership if you want, but there's also, of course, the Canary Cry Supply Drop. There's the Canary Cry T-Shirt Council. It's all very good ways to support the show and support the kingdom if you believe that this is kingdom work, which we do. We do have our producers who are on streaks. They come in under $7.77. And we thank them on Wednesdays because they're all on, they continue their streaks, and that's very impressive. So I'll start with Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman, who's on a 173 episode streak.
Thank you, Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman.
We have Veronica D on a 532 episode streak.
Thank you, Veronica D. Long timers.
Yes, we have Sir Scott on a 581 episode streak.
Sir Scott, keeping it real.
And we have Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
On a 586 episode streak. Thank you, sir.
Which, by the way, episode 900 is next, Basil.
I know.
It's coming up.
Big day. Oh, you want to? We should put the. Oh, we got it right here. We should put up Sir Darren's teaser. Oh, you got it there. Okay, we both got it. Booyah! Episode 900 coming up, baby, on Monday. It's gonna be a blast. It's a very exciting time. We are on the road to 1,000 episodes. If you can include all our other podcast episodes, we're
close.
Far past 1,000, but. Yes, big deal. Really appreciate everybody making it possible. We could not get to episode 900 if it weren't for our producers. Not a single advertisement, but many producers. And of course, you can produce the show with your time, like our timestamper.
Timestamp.
Timestamp. It's hard work. Timestamp.
Jade Bouncerson coming in clutch.
Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson, for all your tireless work. Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you to, I feel like there's something I was supposed to say before I do this. Okay, it'll come to me. Thank you to Jam for heading up the Telegram. Thank you to Adam42 for heading up the Discord channel. Go get in there, folks. Get in the Telegram channel. Get in the Discord channel. Get connected to other Canarians. We got to make it through this. We can only do it together. You can go to canarycry.party to find the links, the invite links to those 2 areas. Thank you to Joe for the feedback. Thank you to Clank for everything you do for us, Clank. Thank you to Ike, Sir Ike, for everything you do. And if anybody wants to change their shipping address or their t-shirt size, send an email to canarycrysupply@gmail.com. But most of all, just share the show. Share the show. We're people who are fatigued with the hullabaloo, the centralization of the formerly decentralized, centralized not just in channel or in location or in message, Of course, they are centralized that way, but also they have become centralized in spirit, a dark, chaotic spirit trying to rile everybody up for the purposes of advertising dollars. But not here. Share the show. You can share it however you like. We call it rattling cages. All you got to do is walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted. I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Caleb says, speaking of 900, House passes $900 billion defense bill for Golden Dome tech and more.
Hey.
$900 billion. That's a lot of dollars.
That's, hey, just give us 0.001% and we will be stoked.
Yeah, we need to get classified as a defense contractor.
Yes, we are vital, essential work for
issue.
defense.
Let's see here. Joyful Noise says instant Dame or Knight for 900 show. Honestly, usually we wait for the triple, the triple digit for the knighthood, but 999 is not going to be much of a discount for knighthood. So yeah, we'll do it at 900.
Let's do it.
If anybody wants to come in, you can get your Dame or knighthood for 900. That's $100 off.
Awesome.
Thank you. All right, everybody.
Quick shout out. Yes, last quick shout out to Cassius and Lola. We see your art. Thank you for it. We're gonna thank you and show the art and share it on Monday on episode 900. So
I didn't see their art before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Cassius and Lola. We will do your art on Monday.
Yep, we'll get there.
I'm doing Canary Cry Clubhouse tomorrow. I will have 2 special guests with us, but call in, come hang out, fellowship with us. It's a very important time and people are loving the show, so you should. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time, but until you do, think out the cage.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Merry